What's going on, guys? Sammy Cam here. Today we're going to be looking at some reviews for Spider-Man 2. We're going to be looking at the 1-star reviews, the 3-star reviews, and the 5-star reviews, just to get this out of the way. We're not looking at a lot. We're not going too deep. I can't read, but if you want me to go deeper down this rabbit hole for Spider-Man 2 or any other game with reviews on Google, let me know. I thought this was pretty fun. I had some fun doing the voices. You're gonna find that out later. But no, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm gonna send it back to 2 weeks ago, Sam, before he figured out how to use a focus on the webcam. Yeah, now that I've pointed that out, try not to, think about it. It's gonna be difficult. I'm not very bright. So when the game was first coming out, I stayed away from the reviews. I didn't want to see any spoilers. I didn't want to see people's opinions because I wanted to go in balls deep, all on my own, figure it out myself. Well, I should have looked at reviews. The shirt, the room, I was biased. I thought it was God's greatest gift to man, right? I thought it was the best Spider-Man game ever made. And about a month ago, I decided to replay it because I was bored. So I decided to look back and see if it was still perfect. And unfortunately, it was not. I want to make a video where I go and look at the reviews and see if my new personal views line up with any of the reviews. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be dead ass, I'm gonna spoil a little bit. Some of these are doing tricks on it. Some of these are like something I would write 10 months ago, like, oh my goodness, this game is perfect. Right? That extent of dick writing. And then there's some reviews that are extremely biased in an opposite direction, where they're like, this game's shit. I don't want to play this game. You know why? Cause the gays. Literally, I'm not even trying to joke. There are people who made a 1-star review saying the game is good gameplay, good everything. Don't like the woke agenda, brother. I'm gonna put a pin in that one because we're gonna get to that soon. Stay around if you want to see that. All right, let's get into this. I love you. Please subscribe. Alright, our first 5-star review is from Horatio. Thank you, Horatio, for the review. You didn't send it to me.
The game is amazing and exceeded my expectations. New features, 10 out of 10. Web wings are so fun to use. Fast travel is only 1 second, as well as switching to the other Spider-Man. New special attacks are better, and the black suit is one of the best parts of the entire game. New suits are well designed, and story is 9.9 out of 10. A well-written story that manages to focus on both Spider-Mans while still having a lot of tension and good moments. Also, it sets up the next game. Only thing I wish they had done is given Miles more cutscenes and have given Peter less cutscenes, because Miles is only in the game like 30% and Peter got 70% of the cutscenes and story. Boss battles are 9.8 out of 10. I'm glad this game had a boss health bar unlike the other ones. Some boss fights are challenging, but once you start to understand the patterns of their attacks, they become easier to beat, as long as you know how to dodge and parry at the right moments.
Alright, Horatio, thank you for your review. I agree with a lot of what he said. This is one of the more tame 5-star reviews. I decided we should start out tame, then we'll progressively get to more dick writing. What he said about the web wings being a 10 out of 10, absolutely true. I completely agree with that. The web wings are so fun to use. I'm really happy that they included that in it. It made the game feel new. I do agree Miles should have gotten more cutscenes. I feel like his story should have been a little more fleshed out. I love when they go in depth with like him and Mr. Lee. Right, I really enjoy that. I wish they had fleshed out a little more or extended that something or focused more on that. Also, the boss battles. I agree with that 100%. The boss battles are 10 times better than the original game, and the inclusion of the health bar is nice, but at the same time, when you load into a boss fight and you see there's little 4 dots, you're cooked. What he said with the learning the attacks and like parrying and dodging at the right time, yeah. Horatio, you did it right. You played the game right. I did. I cheesed the game to win, because apparently I'm not very smart and I didn't realize there was perfect timing. I would dodge all right, but parrying, I can't. So thank you, Horatio. Appreciate you. On to the next one. Okay, we've got Ghost Da Vinci. Alright, that is a very interesting name. Ghost Da Vinci, let's see.
Though I haven't played the game, Spider-Man 2 is the best game of 2023.
How do you know that? If you've not played the game, how can you accurately give a review? I also don't understand how this is the second review when you go to look for 5 stars. That is crazy. This should be like 10. His brother didn't play the game.
The gameplay is still good, but with a feature similar to LEGO games, which allow you to switch, but you can only switch to the character should the story mission or side mission call for it. 12 out of 10. The story is so brilliant, and Insomniac has done a great job with deeper attachments in terms of emotions and character development. Peter reuniting with his best friend to honor their respective parents' legacies was such phenomenal. 9 out of 10. Venom starting off as a harmless exosuit to a sentient alien symbiote was amazing, having similar traits to the ultimate Venom. But the symbiote invasion is a perfect way to help dive into the reason Venom came to Earth other than becoming a villain like in his comic 616 variant. He straight up twists a host's desires and emotions to very dark purpose. Amplifying the anger was nothing I have ever seen. Yuri Lowenthal's anger impression is just so great, and he is the voice actor for Spider-Man PS5. 10 out of 10.
Intermission. I do agree. Yuri Lowenthal's performance in this game is actually, it's nuts. He goes hard, especially the anger. It was really good. And the sadness, like him trying to plead with Venom at the end of the game, incredible. And I'm actually pissed that he didn't win Best Voice Actor at Game of the Year.
Miles' Revenge was similar, but we could actually feel Miles' inner demons and past blood-seeking. The villains, like Tombstone, Mr. Negative, Mysterio, and Black Cat, getting a second chance is not bad. It helps me realize that even if I make mistakes in my past, I can always find a way to be better and be good once more. 10 out of 10. Raven was interesting. He captured the villains to battle them in order to see his own death, but he did it because his body was slowly crumbling due to terminal illness. He didn't want to die as a man, but honorably as a hunter. That was something I didn't expect, but it was just good. 6 out of 10. Insomniac did us good. They introduced Scream, Sandman, the extra building, the Sanctorum, and Anti-Venom. They just keep making us wait for the surprise that could hit us with an anvil. 9 out of 10. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a very amazing game, with a total of 49 out of 10. Keep doing what is best, Insomniac.
Thank you, Ghost Da Vinci. Appreciate that. I agree with a majority of what he said, but I'm still kind of... How can you give this review without actually playing the game? I understand I'm one to call because I played the game and said it was perfect. But, you know, I just wanted to point that out. It's kind of goofy. But I do have to agree with a lot of the points that he made. The Miles plot points were probably a highlight of my gameplay, besides like the symbiote suit story portion of the game. I did like the inclusion of the other villains from the past games, and what they said really, you know, that's true. If you do something bad, you can always become a better person. Yeah, so they didn't really enjoy the Kraven plotline. I did. Kraven was a badass. Kraven was based. He also, anytime he was like on screen, he stole the screen. Like he was awesome. I really enjoyed him. The one thing I didn't enjoy is how he killed like half of the Sinister Six. Didn't like that, but it made him feel real and like a threat. That wasn't a really dick righty one. I just thought this was kind of crazy because he didn't actually play it. Ghost Da Vinci, thanks for the review. All right, on to the next one. All right, we've got, I can't pronounce your name. I apologize. Also, I'm gonna be trying a different voice for this one.
As a long-time fan of the character, I can...
Nope.
As a
Nope.
As
a lifelong fan of this character, I can only thank Insomniac and Sony for creating a true-to-fan masterpiece of a game. I don't pre-order many games, but this one was 100% worth the money. Not only do you get an absolute whirlwind of a storyline, the progression of which makes your jaw drop lower and lower with each mission. Side missions aren't obnoxious or overwhelming, but rather quick, fun, and quite rewarding in terms of suits and points of upgrade, and so on. Also, the game consists of an immense number of Easter eggs, leaving you wanting more. Hopefully a DLC or two. For those who are still debating between Deluxe and Regular Edition, go with Regular, unless you really love those additional suits. The game already gives you 60 plus suits to try on, with many being fan favorites as well as new takes on the Spideys. Look that solely depend on completion of certain side missions, plus you can always upgrade later. Finally, to those who focus on a small political part of this game and certain gender nuances to the story, my only answer is to go touch grass and stop nonsense hate. Cool. And to the rest of you, new and die-hard fans, I wish long hours of fabulous and joyful gameplay. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
All right, actually pretty good, besides the side missions not being obnoxious or overwhelming. Yeah, they weren't obnoxious or overwhelming, they were just repetitive as shit. The same thing over and over again for like 9 times. There was only like 3 or 4 different things you could do with a certain side mission, and then they would just reuse ideas. Like, I'm thinking of the Mysteriums, right? Perform 6 takedowns. Really? You're making me go out of my way to go someplace, do 6 takedowns, just to be like,
Oh, I'll get you next time, 5 Spider-Man.
Right? That was boring. Except the conclusion. I really liked the conclusion. The suits. Yeah, there were a lot of suits to pick from. I like that they gave you 4 different styles. But quantity does not mean quality. In my opinion, a lot of the Miles suits were kind of shit. I really like the ones that were from his game. I like the one that he was training in his game. I really like that one. Like the winter jacket, love that one. And his classic is great. But a lot of the style differences were really bland in my opinion. And there was also 3 symbiote suits that he had that really didn't make sense. But they were actually really cool. I liked them. I never wore them, but the amount of detail that was put into them I can appreciate. And alright, this is just a little precursor to what we're going to be reading in those 1-star reviews. Political issues with gender roles or sexuality roles. Whatever did he say? Gender nuances. I've never heard those 2 words put together. Alright, thanks again. Okay, so we're just jumping straight into it. Okay, all right, we've got a review from Jay.
No spoilers. An engaging story, solid gameplay, great voice acting, and a lot of fun. Some of the gameplay elements when you play another character are very well thought out and was a pleasant surprise. Around 30 hours of gameplay in a playthrough, fast loading times, and the skill tree is fleshed out for both Spider-Man. However, the game is quite full on the woke agenda. For example, characters announce their sexuality unprovoked, most white men are evil, and even the good ones only remain relevant through the help of a diverse group and etc. These things alone aren't necessarily an issue, but it's forced and there's so much of it.
Okay, rough take. I'm gonna say this take twice apparently, because this is a little much. All right, hypothetically, close your eyes with me, guys. If you get saved, right? You're hurt. Oh man, I'm hurt. You get saved by Spider-Man, and you thank him. You're like, oh wow, thank you. Remember, keep your eyes closed. My significant other was so worried. I was so worried about my significant other. If you're trying to portray a real game, you're not gonna say, oh, thank you. My spouse was worried. No, you're gonna say, oh, in my case, oh, thanks, my wife, my girlfriend. I was really worried. They were really worried about me. Thanks for saving me. If I was gay, thanks, my boyfriend, my husband. They were worried about me. If you're trying to portray a real world, a real living environment, there's going to be people who don't necessarily follow what you follow. And yeah, it's unprovoked, but still, it's not like saying, oh, thank you. I enjoy having sex with men. It's not that. It's, thank you. My husband is worried, right? You're saying something that is not far-fetched. It's not, oh, thank you. When you grabbed me, my butt plug fell out.
Perhaps tying in the above, everything regarding MJ is ridiculous, especially the gun in the later stages of the game, where she's treated like a fully trained SHIELD agent who rides a motorcycle, even when the sensible thing to do at one point in the story is to be carried by Spider-Man.
And he's referring to the end where she goes and gets the stone, the symbiote stone, and she decides to ride her motorcycle like a badass. Very cool visually. Yeah, it made more sense for Miles to swing her because he's fast. The motorcycle is also loud, so it's attracting symbiotes. Yeah, I agree with him, except for the stages. I really enjoyed her stealth missions. They were a lot more fun than in the original game.
New York City don't react to Spider-Man at all, and it feels quite lifeless for a next-gen game. Throwing the distinct lack of other heroes and villains throughout the game, it starts to feel too isolated. Little comments from Spider-Man that certain landmarks no longer take place as they did in the first game, and the game is quite buggy, surprising from an Insomniac game. In the next game, we need more character crossovers like in the Batman games. Spider-Man's strength should be better showcased. Relax on the real-world politics and woke agenda. New York City needs to feel more alive. MJ should be treated realistically and relax on the damn button prompts.
I agree. It does feel isolated. We should maybe have a cameo, except he didn't mention the fact that they did flesh the world out a tiny little bit. They had Wong, Doctor Strange and Wong. Yeah, it was a sticky note. It was literally one of these. Sorry. Thank you. It was literally just a sticky note. So I understand why that's not like, oh, whoa. But still, they did try. But I agree. We need some cameos. We need some, think about Web of Shadows, Luke Cage, Wolverine. Maybe some of that. Maybe some flesh them out. Daredevil. He was referenced twice. Why don't you have Daredevil pull up also? So I really think that Insomniac should make a Daredevil game. And I know the gameplay is just going to be this. But no, they could make the web zip button, so the triangle, they could make that radar, right? And then you could do a bunch of cool shit. Maybe I should make a video about that. That'd be cool to see that character. So, woke agenda, yada yada, doesn't really matter in my opinion. It's a game. It's not that deep. So I actually really enjoyed playing MJ in the first game. I feel like they should do something like that. Something where you're not like taking out too many enemies, maybe one or two, something. You should be going into a public place where the Spider-Man can't be to retrieve information. That's the only reason why I think MJ should be played, not her going to hunter bases and kill all these people or neutralize all these people. It's kind of far-fetched for her to do that, just her being a person, just a dude. Somewhat based opinion. All right, thank you, Jay. Okay, we've got Michael.
The graphics are incredible in this game, and the fighting is intense. Gameplay is definitely impacted. Overall, the story is good, but there are some things that can't be ignored. First, the most of the costumes are terrible. While I do enjoy the color scheme options and showing the battle damage, the majority of the costumes are tasteless and not practical. Second, there were missions where you play as Mary Jane again, which is irritating. Third, some of the writing, mostly in Miles' part, is cringe and lame. I will say he's improved since his solo game, but not by much. Fourth and the last issue is the political messaging being pushed in this game, especially in some side missions. Aside from that, and how bad Mary Jane looks, the game plays really well. The story is entertaining while the ending has me concerned for the third game. Miles doesn't need to be Peter's replacement as Spider-Man. He needs his own identity to be his own man and not be in somebody else's shadow. I hope the makers of this game figure that out and make better choices for the next game.
All right, thank you, Michael. So I don't agree with Miles, the writing in Miles stuff being cringe. I don't really recall anything cringe, so I'm gonna say that's not valid from my opinion, but your opinion is still valid and I appreciate your opinion. Also, I like the fact that he's mentioning that there is some woke stuff in side missions, which, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet now. So there's a side mission that you can optionally play. You don't have to do this. This is not a main story mission. This is a side quest. While playing as Miles, you can help this guy basically like propose, homecoming to his boyfriend, right? It's a side mission. It's not that bad. There's puzzles. You get a suit after doing it. It's not that deep. I'm saving it. I'm going more in depth later when I go to the 1-star reviews. Sorry. Okay, we've got Generic White Male 1, Generic White Male 2 here. Good to see you again. So,
Oh, I jammed my finger.
okay, so my previous, what's a white guy voice?
Okay, so my previous one was a 2 before the March update, but it only gets a 1+ star because the missions, after replaying a New Game Plus, are literally boring. They talk too damn much, and not much action is going on. Like seriously, can you guys learn from Web of Shadows? Bring back Shaba Games to teach you how to make a great Spider-Man game. I still find myself playing Web of Shadows way more than I do Spider-Man 2. With all this being said, the side missions are still boring. Like, I really don't care about you shoving in the environment or helping Miles with his boring academy. Also, the QuickTime events are honestly mediocre and overly used. Again, take a look at Web of Shadows and you'll understand what I mean. Quick, efficient, straight to the point, and most importantly, thrilling.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Generic White Male number 1. Personally, I've not played Web of Shadows. I've seen a lot of reviews on it, and yes, I do agree. On New Game Plus, a lot of stuff is fucking boring, especially when you go from the high action of the introduction with Sandman, and then you have to transition to you and Harry going to high school and redoing all this stuff. Yes, plot-wise, it works, but is it paced properly? No. Does it make me want to stop playing the game for like 5 months? Yes, because I literally did that. And I do feel like they do talk a lot, but it's not that bad. Like, it makes sense for them to talk a lot, because I would be more pissed off if it was just all phone calls while you're doing stuff. That pissed me off. That would piss me off a lot. All right, you got it. You made it here. The 1-star reviews. We've got a 1-star review coming in from Peter.
I was honestly concerned going into that.
Nope. Okay, I can't fucking read. Propaganda. I'm gonna paraphrase, because fucking look at this, dog. Look at this shit. I was honestly concerned going into this game. I thought it would be more woke propaganda content like the Miles game had, but nothing could have prepared me for this. To start, the game... Okay, one gripe that I have, when you're reading it in your head, it's fine, it works. But when you have to fucking read it out loud, there's no punctuation. There's no punctuation. I can't read, and you're not helping me. I can't read. I can't read. I was honestly concerned going into this game that it would be too woke, especially after all the propaganda content the Miles game had, but nothing could have prepared me for this. To start, the gameplay is great, the story is good for the first 20 minutes, then it's boring until about the midpoint. Overall, the game would be 4-star for me. Graphics are very crisp, however it's glitchy. I had to restart my game on my PS5 multiple times because of bad lighting, camera angles, or total black screen. Side quests in the game and extra content still
feels like bloat to me, and somehow more of a job than actual fun to do. The best part for me in the game is when you get the black suit.
Based opinion, I agree. Side content's kind of poopy.
Now onto the woke agenda. It's literally everywhere from flags to dialogue to just how missions play out. If you're like me and like to platinum some games, be prepared to have to do a side mission called Homecoming, where you have to help two guys fall in love. I myself could not stand it and ended the mission halfway in and sacrificed my platinum, just because it was honestly totally ridiculous. I guess in a way we knew what we were getting into when we bought a game with Marvel's name on it. It's basically Disney, and we all know what that is. Disney owns Marvel. Insomniac made a game based on a Marvel character, therefore we end up with more Disney woke trash. I hope they don't make Wolverine, because he is one of my favorite characters, and I feel somehow they'll turn him into woke trash too. If you can't put aside your need to push your agendas on others, then just don't bother making a game that alienates us to our heroes. So in closing, if you like woke agenda and content in your game, you'll love Spider-Man 2. And maybe some can overlook it, but I just couldn't, and they ruined the game for me with this new normal mentality.
Alright, Peter, thanks for your review. So, I can understand, Disney does make some trash. They make some bad stuff. I don't like to talk about politics or like woke in general. I just thought it was funny that was a majority of the negative reviews was woke trash, right? I'm not gonna get into that point, but yeah, Disney does make some garbage. From my perspective, it was just a side mission. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. It's not my favorite because you're literally doing puzzles. Half of these side quests are just freaking puzzles that you do that just pass the time, that feel like bloat. Thank you. So, I didn't like it. One, because it was boring. I only did it so I could get the suit. And two, yeah, I felt a little uncomfortable watching two dudes fall in love. I was jealous. I want to kiss a man. I don't. It was not funny. I can't include that. Basically what I'm saying is it's a game. It is not that deep.
Editing Sam here, so one thing that I forgot to mention was I find it crazy how people can just nitpick and complain about the smallest little things that do not change the story or make the game bad in any sense. They just bitch and moan and complain about shit that isn't important. What we should be complaining about is the side quests. We should be complaining and giving our 2 cents on the side quests, because excluding a couple of them, side missions are different from side activities. And when I say side quest, I mean side activities. So like the photos, the Mysteriums, the symbiote nests, I hated those. That's just the same recycled shit over and over again, except you add in one different thing and oh man, it's so unique. Oh brother. Bullshit. It's annoying. And Marco's memories. All you do is just go fight people and grab the fucking crystal. I don't give a shit. I don't want to learn about your daughter. I don't give a flying fuck. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the woke agenda. Let's talk about how,
I hate how they include the gays. I really do. They're terrible. They're ruining this country.
we should be complaining about that stuff that is, actually important to the game, not the political messaging in said game. It doesn't matter. See, I don't understand people going into a game. A game is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy yourself. You're supposed to have fun. You're not supposed to be like, well, the underlying political messaging in this says that, Shungate. Bro, I have no words to explain how stupid that is, in my opinion. That's fucking stupid. You should be playing the game to have fun, to enjoy yourself, not to fine-tooth comb everything because it doesn't line up politically. If we did that with everything we watched, played, or consumed, we would not watch anything, we would not play anything, we would not do anything. But yapping, you're like these pugs, you're yapping. The main thing, we should just, talk about side missions, stuff that isn't necessarily great in the game, like some story beats, not great, We should be talking about that. We should just stop bringing politics and roles, gender roles, all this other shit. It's a game. You're supposed to unwind and have fun. All right, back to it. We have a review coming in from Singers Unite.
No spoilers. Great game, great gameplay, great villains, absolutely no bugs. It's very satisfying to see a game that's released in a pretty much finished state. This game would have gotten 5 stars. The only reason why I gave it 1 is because I think it's really unhealthy for children because of the radical left-wing wokery that's infested this game with liberal politics. So many people Spider-Man rescues make hints about their homosexuality. I had about 7 different white men thank Spider-Man for saving them, then proceed by telling Spider-Man that they're concerned about their husbands. Gay flags everywhere, Christian religious symbols on fire, God continuously mocked Black Lives Matter morals. Every bad guy is white, even though 60% of every character is non-white. I mean, as soon as the first mission starts, Spider-Man is telling us how he hates the Second Amendment. It's really sad to see these game producers who are clearly talented can't just stick to making games without trying to also be protesters.
One thing that I don't understand, shout out the cat. We got the stink in the building. One thing that I don't understand is the claim that they made about Spider-Man not liking the Second Amendment. When the fuck does he say that? Did I play a old version of the game and didn't get that part? I don't remember that. Write in the comments if I'm stupid, if I am misremembering. I don't remember that, so that's kind of dumb. Again, I already talked about the homosexuality thing, you know, getting saved, concerned about your husband. Oh no, by golly, by gosh, whatever. Also, the gay flags everywhere, Christian religious symbols on fire. There's gay flags everywhere. They're not everywhere. There's some places, they're in specific places. Yes, you can see them. Oh no. If you want a real life, like somewhat realistic New York, there's going to be gay people. There's going to be Black Lives Matter stuff there. There's going to be gay flags. They're trying to portray a close to realistic, like, set piece, place, area. Brother, it is a game. If you don't like it, turn it off. Also, the fact every bad guy is a white man. Raven, Russian, right? Yeah, he's white. He's got white skin tone. Mysterio, you know, he's white. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. As long as the story is good, as long as it makes sense, it's fine. I don't understand the whole,
Oh, well, I'm being misrepresented. I'm white. Nah, I'm not a villain. I'm not a bad guy. I just hate blacks and gays.
that was out of pocket. I apologize. And I agree. I liked that the game was released in a somewhat finished state, besides the update to New Game Plus, the environment, like you can change the time of day, and other patches. But yeah, that review is kind of shit, not gonna lie. But thanks, Singers Unite. All right, Travis, let's see your opinion.
Good, not great. It's all about the little things that ruin this game. When you go into photo mode and swipe up and down, doesn't work very well. Tried a different controller and same results. Collision detection is off too, so when picking a path that looks to be clear, sometimes it isn't. Riding the bike is just a joke. If you run into something, then he goes backwards instead of traversing around the object. I feel like they spent more time on the looks than the mechanics, which seems to be going right for newer, bigger games nowadays. Disappointing!
Edit 31024.
I never realized how completely woke this is. Now it's a 1-star for sure. Playing through a second time, you notice more and can clearly see there's an agenda in this game. Sorry, Insomniac. I done supporting you. I'm so glad it exactly what it deserved in the awards. 0. Enough said.
Alright, so first, let's take a trip back to first grade English and write a better sentence. Thank you. I wish that they got an award at the Game of the Year event for voice acting, because Yuri Lowenthal did a very good job. I liked it. Also, I did use photo mode. It was a little hard to control. Not that bad. I never really had the collision detection thing. I don't know if that's like in general or if that's just with the bikes. Also, yeah, they're kind of a joke. They kind of it really drags the story down, especially when you ride them. And you can ride them apparently like in the open world. I don't see the appeal. I did like the mission where I think it's an EMF mission where you're trying to test the batteries, so you ride this like super fast cool bike. I really like that because there's jumps you can go on. That part's fun. And then I feel like they spent more time on the looks than the mechanics, which seems to be going right for newer, bigger games now. Disappointing. Yeah, I agree they prioritize the looks of the game, but you gotta admit the game looks good. The game looks pretty beautiful. The environments are awesome. I love them. But at the same time, yeah, they didn't add very many new mechanics. They did add some though. So they added motion controls for like some of the side activities when you're at Coney Island, which it's not that important. There's side activities that you do like twice in the game. And then they also added like new fight mechanics, new stealth mechanics. The main new mechanic is the symbiote suit. That's a whole new thing that I can really think of. So you're half right, half wrong. They did add new mechanics, but at the same time they didn't reinvent the wheel. So, you know, I'm gonna shut up. This was a better review than the last one we read, except for the note. Like, okay, cool. No one likes an agenda in games. You want games are art. You want games to be something that is enjoyable for anyone. You know, they could have done a lot worse. If we're being frank, they could have done a lot worse. They could have made made Spider-Man gay. They could have made you have a fuck scene with Spider-Man. Miles, you know, I'm waiting for MJ to call me back, but you know, why don't you pull down your Okay, so that's gonna do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed me reading these. So, moral of the story, I can't read. A lot of people have some whack opinions, and overall, I agree with, like, probably half of the opinions that are here. So, yeah, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, so I appreciate you guys for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm gonna be making more videos about Spider-Man. Namely, I'm going to be rewriting the story because there's some things I don't really enjoy with the story. That's probably going to be the next video I make, so if you want to see that, stick around. Alright, I'll see you guys later. I appreciate you for watching, and I hope I didn't say anything too whack. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.